Okay, this is Kathy Crow at the Crow Cottage. I'm back, and I have my dot where I am used to it. I had to start over again. Okay, so I have been gone for a few days, and I'm just so out of the loop. There are many things I've forgotten to get ready this morning for this, but I think we'll be successful anyway. Whatever you do with cards, you remember, please, the important part is your message. I spend a lot of time making my card look really nice because I like to do that. It's fun. I like to create stuff that I think looks really good, and it's just really special for those people that I'm sending it to. But I do want to just remind us that actually our words inside it are the part that the people are going to cherish the most. And that really is why I'm doing this. I do this for fun, but I want people to be encouraged in whatever way I'm sending that card for, whatever that occasion or sentiment is. So and I'm saying all of that just to encourage you to keep sending cards that you think are imperfect. They're not. People are going to love it, whatever you make, and because it really is the heart behind it. Every time I make a card, I always think that it could be better. It could be. I'm not perfect, and it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. If I had to send only perfect cards, I would never send a card. So anyway, we are going to use the Birds of a Feather suite today. I've got several things going on with it because it's a multi-occasion set. This is in the holiday catalog, and so if you place an order with me for this set today, I think what I am going to do for people who place orders today, I will probably be sending some paper. Now this paper is actually, I have to check to make sure it's not back ordered because I know it was, and so I wouldn't have enough to be able to send this particular paper if so. So it would be one of the holiday papers, but I couldn't guarantee that it would be this one. A pack of that cut up, not the big pack. I can't afford to do that. You would get a sample of that. And of course, if your order is large enough, you would be getting my free gifts and all kinds of stuff. So anyhow, that is that. And I am going to try to get my computer online with us right at the moment. And since I'm doing that, I am going to just keep the camera on me. You can look at my lovely stamps as I do that. This is the way that we all operated for 25, 30 years with wood blocks. And it made our stamps actually tremendously more expensive. And you know, you're buying stamps now that are unmounted. So if you're new to this, you may not be aware that although it seems really expensive, all of our stamp sets, you're actually getting these stamp sets at a lot less cost than we used to. I am thrilled to be able to buy a stamp set for $15 because they were never that cheap because when they were all mounted on wood blocks, well, I know we might still have some on wood blocks, and if we do, then you can compare the cost and see what the cost is, because it was a lot. And so anyway, now I have it online and we can go. All right, so I am going to just lower my camera down. I don't have a finished card for what I'm doing because I am just kind of going on the fly. I was visiting family for quite a while, and so anyhow, that's my excuse for whatever it is, whatever that excuse is worth. So we will switch our camera around. I'm hoping that I can keep us in view of what I'm working on. Again, I tend to work at the edge here rather than at the top. Hi, Freddie. I'm so glad you joined me. And I saw, Freddie, all of your little projects. I just haven't had a chance to really examine them closely yet, but they looked really beautiful. I love that peaceful, what is it? Is it Peaceful Place or whatever that stamp set is? I really love that one. So, okay, I think I'm good. I'm bringing it down just a little bit because I tend to work on the edges rather than in the middle, and that makes it very difficult for people to follow along with me when I'm doing that. I'm going to try to be committed to the center today. All right, so I have all of my supplies. We are going to work through many different cards, and let me just turn my paper around. I would encourage you, if you have extra bucks to spend on your supplies, if you want a workspace this is reversible. This is our grid paper. It's reversible. The one nice thing about it is that it has inches measured out on that grid paper, and I actually use a piece a lot. This is what I used last week, and so it was a little messy. So I decided I didn't want to do this sheet for you guys again today, but I saved it because for my personal use, I will keep going with that one sheet for actually a long time. So it lasts a long time. And you get, I don't know, hundreds of sheets in a pack of it. So we're using this Birds of a Feather. Oh, thank you about my nails. They didn't get a lot of wear and tear because the place that I was at in Spokane did not have Wi-Fi. So I didn't get any of my card work done hardly that I wanted to. That was very frustrating, actually. Because without Wi-Fi, I couldn't load anything up to my phone was not even acting right. So I couldn't send anything anywhere, and so that's why I had no newsletter last week. I couldn't do it. So anyhow, Birds of a Feather. We are going to use, there's stars in this set, so I've cut out some of this is the Stitched Stars dies. And I did run it through. I saved out my little dryer sheet to show you that run your dies through with a dryer sheet. I've never used these dies yet, so I wasn't sure how they would punch out, but they looked like they did. I just kind of threw them in this little container here. I wanted to see how easily they came out, and actually that dryer sheet does make a huge difference. All of these little parts are coming out really nicely, and I see a bunch of little things that I'm going to want to save. So all of these little stars we may use, so I'm just sort of keeping them here on this black so I can see what's going on with it. But anyway, when you use a dryer sheet with your dies, you're not going to have to spend as much time just doing this little pokey poke thing that I'm having to do to get it cleaned up. So we'll use that. The stitch, it also comes with these little points that you can use if you cut out a solid star out of a different color. I mean, I could layer on my gold on gold, but I probably won't do that. I'll to use these points, I'll cut out a stitched star from a different color, like navy would be really pretty. Let's see. The other thing I saw in this set is this really wonderful little swirl. I love that swirl. There's a swirl in what is it? It's in the Cup of Christmas also. So your swirl and Cup of Christmas would coordinate with that one really nicely. All right, so these are the really detailed ones. And as you can see with this gold or copper, this is actually copper, but I suspect it's the same with the gold. There's this, this is how it just fell out of the die. And Somebody joined us and disappeared fast. Yeah, well, you never know. Thank you, Freddie, for keeping an eye on that. I've got like little, yeah, anyway, I'll talk to you about that later. There's this plastic backing that is clear. And so if you don't like, if it's not just falling out, get that little plastic piece, pull that away. Okay, and some of your little pieces are going to come away with it so that you do not have to do all of this pokey poke nonsense. Okay, so that just peeled off. Again, I believe this is on here just to strengthen it and make sure that your foil stays nice, but you don't want it on there necessarily. I mean, if it's not in the holes, it would be fine. But if it's there anyway, you can use it as a way to kind of get your pieces unattached. So I don't know if I can get that started on this one, little plastic piece. But, and if I can't, then I'm not going to worry about it, and I'll just keep poking until all of the little hanging chads fall out. Okay, so I'm not going to go forever doing that with you guys. I just wanted to remind you that that's what that works for. The stitch stars, when you layer your piece, when you layer it in your Big Shot, you can just keep layering your stars so that you can use as much of your gold or copper, whatever your foil is, you can use as much of it as possible. The only thing that I try to do is leave some space around, because as you can see, there is a nice stitched edge here too. And then I can use my scissors and or my cutter and trim around here, and I'll have another star that's a stitched star for all of these that I cut out. Well, not that one. That one didn't have it. So some of them, I guess, don't, but most of them do. And so then, yeah, it's just another way to get another star out of your one pass through the die cutter. So let's put that aside, because I don't know where that's coming in yet, but it's going to be arriving on our card at some point in time. And I don't want to lose my copper. Let's put that piece over here. Okay, so this is our brightly gleaming paper, and I love that. It's so pretty. Really nice. So we are definitely going to be using that. And this is the Woven Heirlooms paper. It is going to coordinate really nicely with this. So what I'm decided I'm going to do is I'm going to I just cut a piece of white cardstock down to our typical 4.5 or 5.5 by 4 1/4. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to put this here, we're going to put this there, and then we'll just see where we go from there. Okay, but I didn't want to take a ton of time just on camera cutting things today. All right, so Freddie, how's your weather doing? Because, yeah, I saw your message that you saw we had snow. I couldn't believe we had as much snow. I got tons of hiking done, which was really nice. But I got pretty wet doing that hiking. And at least my feet did one of those days. And, oops, actually I want my lines to be going the other way, so I might have to recut here. Let's just do that, because actually it really probably won't matter, so I'll just do what I was doing. So this is 5.5, and then we want this one 4 1/4. I can't cut and talk at the same time apparently, but because that's not right. What am I doing? 5.5. Oh, that doesn't even look right, but it is close. It's not quite, but it's good enough. I'll just trim that edge. But anyhow, when I went to Manitou Garden, of course I had to traipse through all of the grass, and the grass was really super wet. So my feet got really damp. And I didn't, when I took all of my supplies, I grew up in Spokane, so I know that it oftentimes is like that, very wet and all, but I took lots of jackets, and I took lots of socks, and I took my skirts and jeans and sweatshirts and regular shirts. I took all these things, but the problem is that I didn't think about my shoes. Here in the Tri-Cities, it's very, very dry. So I forgot that my shoes were probably going to get terribly wet. So they did. And it was just on the day that I went to Manitou Park, because that park has lots of roses where the grass is, and I wasn't gonna not smell all of those roses, so I had to traipse through the grass. And then after I'd gotten my feet thoroughly wet and realized, you know what, I still have hours here. I don't really want to, maybe I should just stay on the paths after I was done with but then I went into their little perennial garden, and the same thing occurred. I realized, you know what, this is what I'm here for. And by that time, I was resigned to wet feet, and then hoped that where I was staying, that my shoes would have a good dry out spot, and they would dry out, and they did, so it was fine. It was all good. Okay, so I like that paper with this. This is really pretty. One of my favorite papers. And so I'll just use some dimensionals on the back of this one. Now, before I get too carried away, I do want to see which one. I'm actually going to use this little guy, little chick with an ornament. He's got a little star ornament in his hand, and I'm going to just grab a piece of scrap that I've got here, because I'm going to fussy cut him out anyway. And grab one of my blocks, stick him on there. And let's see here. I didn't really have a lot of eventful things other than really good things happen in Spokane. If you're interested in seeing, I did do a bunch of little video, and of all of my little hikes. It was fun. I had a great time, because I usually have people with me. And I actually really like going into the woods and hiking by myself, because then I can stop and look at plants. Now, Jeff is happy to do that. He likes to stop and look at plants too. So that part is fine. But of course, whoever's with you is going to talk a lot. You're going to talk to them too. And I enjoy that. It's not like I'm, opposed to talking, but I don't get to go into the woods ever, I'm not ever there. So because that's the case, I like to be able to go by myself so I can listen to the birds and that sort of thing, and not be chatting. Now this is saffron, I believe. And no, this is actually daffodil. Let's see how this one's gonna look, because I don't really want yellow, but I don't want a different colored chick either. I'm a fairly literal person, so my rubber bands don't always work very well here. There we go. Okay, so this is the dark one. Just gonna do that to see if I like that, and actually that's gonna be fine. So dark daffodil will be fine, and we'll just do his little star, although I might come back with a gold pin on that. And we'll just kind of outline him a little bit, give him a little bit of dimension. Okay. Oh yeah, this is good. This is a good one, this daffodil, because I don't want him to be so brightly yellow that he's gonna be clashing with my gold. And other colors. Okay. When I was in Riverside Park is actually a giant, I don't know how many acreage, how much acreage there is, but it's a giant park. And the place I was staying at is kind of like right in the middle of it. And so it was a 20-minute drive to the place every time I left town. But then as I got used to the drive, I realized, shoot, it's a 20-minute drive. It's more than a 20-minute drive to many parts of Spokane anyway. So it actually was very convenient. It really, when I first arrived, I was thinking, oh man, this is terribly inconvenient for me to be driving into Spokane, because I went to see my son and my sister as well. So I wasn't really sure that was the best choice for me, but it actually was really nice. It was really safe. The people were really quiet. It was nice. Right out in the middle of the woods. Okay, now we are not going to do red on his little Santa hat because I don't want it to clash with it. I could use peacock. I'm actually partial to that color, but I'm thinking that's not going to, I don't know. Let's just do our green that's in this, which looks to me like mossy meadow. So we will grab out, this is Old Olive, which is a close one. I usually use that because it's lighter in color, so we'll just go with that one since that's the one I grabbed out first anyway. So Old Olive, we'll use the dark one first and see how dark this is going to be. I always kind of forget every time. So we'll just do that. I don't want it to get too carried away, and we'll finish it out with the light Old Olive. Right outside the back door or not the back door, there was like a nice French doors off of the place. Little apartment over the garage, like a nice garage that the guy had transformed into his wood shop. And they, right outside that door, there was my paths, but I did realize as I went along that the paths were nice walking, but I could drive to the best part of the park where it would take me an hour to walk from my path. So I only did that one time. I only walked the path right behind the house one time. I think I don't know. I guess we'll go ahead and do this color. I'm not as terribly fond of that. I might put some gold on that. All right. So you can go to the craft store and buy this painty pen, Zig painty pen. It's gold on one side, silver on another, and I'm sure they have other ones too. Just make sure you shake it up before you use it. And then since there's gold on this paper, I'll use gold, but I actually really like the silver too. It's nice. And then when you use it, the tip pushes in and releases your paint. It's actually paint. You want to kind of get it down to the tip, but you don't want to keep pushing as you color because it does flow out, really flows out, and it becomes can you see that? It does become paint. So I'm going to put just little, I'm just putting a little bit of gold on his little hat. Just a little bit. Okay, just to try to get him to match a little bit better. Oops, I don't want that with that. And then we'll snip him. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do. I was gonna fussy cut him, but I'm thinking about it. What do I want to really do with this? I do want to use the stars because the star is the theme here. So we'll use the star. I might put a I think I'll use this one on a different one because there's another, seemed like there was another star. Oh, they have these stars, so we might use those too and use these when we do that. Okay, so I think that's what we'll do. We'll just fussy cut him. It won't take too awfully long. I hope. If I got out my little scissors, it'd probably be a little more accurate, but it might be a little more slow too. Then when I was all done with my hiking, and I was meeting, Jeff was meeting me, he did not want to stay in the Airbnb, because sometimes an Airbnb is a little too personal. You know, you have to schmooze a little bit with the folks. And the one I was at, you really did not have to. They were very private. Most of them are. I don't think we've ever really been to one. Maybe we've been to one where it seemed like the people who ran it were, you know, running it because they liked to interact with the people, and that was fine. It's just that I'd been away from home for 4 days, and Jeff and I are never away from each other. So it was a time that we knew we would not want to be spending a lot of chit-chat time with the owners of an Airbnb. So Jeff had told me ahead, don't just get us a hotel room for that night. So when I was meeting him at the hotel, before I went to the hotel to meet him, I was hiking, and I found a really cool I'd never been on it, even though I've been to Spokane a bunch. I think we will put, we'll want to put some kind of a ribbon here, or a ribbon on my star. And I have a lot of gold. You know, gold always looks good. I could do twine that would match our little guy. We also have in the catalog Mossy Meadow. I think this is twine, or is this a retired one? Or it also comes in a little bit thicker, so close to this is Mossy Meadow. This looks like Pear Pizzazz, so that one might be discontinued. But this Mossy Meadow is part of the Nature's Twine set. There's 3 colors, so that would actually look really good there too. But I think we'll just go, I'm looking for some pretty peacock, and I know I could, you know, if I wanted to, I could take our white, I could color it with my pen, pretty peacock, but I'm a little unsure about how that's gonna really turn out. Let's have a little test here and see, because then I'll have to wait for that to dry. And so this is what you can do. You can take your white thread and you can just color it, and then you can have it whatever color you want. But again, I'll have to let that dry, so I don't want to do that. We will just use this and tie that onto my little star. And maybe we'll do a double tie. Okay, if you do a double, then I'm going to have to cut another piece, because that's not big enough to do the bow and tie it on. But I do kind of like doing the double. So if you do a double bow, you just double up your thread. It works really best with twine, this thin twine. And it's a little tough to tie your bow. If you're not a bow tire, you probably want someone to do that for you. Okay, so there's my little bow. Cute. And then you can stick that on there. And I wouldn't really even have to tie it, so we'll just stick this all together. Hair dryer. Oh, hair dryer. That's a great idea. I wouldn't have thought of that. I could put a hair dryer to a lot of things and maybe color my bow. Maybe I'll do that. Probably not right now, but actually that colored, I could do a little, yeah, that'd be cute, huh? I do like that idea. It's a good idea. All right, so anyhow, when I was hiking, I found this little trail that was new. I'd never seen it before, and I grew up in going around this park in Spokane, but what's happening is that there are people that are creating these trails, and over the years, you know, I mean, I haven't lived there for 35, 40 years, and So some of these were like just little goat tracks I'd see off the main trail, but not probably have time to take, and had never gone down to the spot that I found that was right along, nice walk right along the river. It was really neat. But anyway, this is your foam adhesive strips. They're I've really gotten to be very happy with these strips because I can cut them the length that I want them really easily. And they can actually tear too. So that makes it handy as well. Oh, that doesn't seem to be, I think I've lost the gummy off of that one. I've handled it a lot probably. Let's get a new piece. So since I found this spot, I was taking some pictures of it, and I set my umbrella down because I had taken my umbrella. It was really cold and windy, and not wind. I guess it wasn't that windy. It just there was a little bit of wind at that moment, but I knew it was going to be rainy, so I'd taken my umbrella, and I told my umbrella not to move and set it behind me where I thought it would be pretty safe. But, of course, as I was filming, it took off and went down the cliff a little bit. And it was close enough. It was just like, do you remember watching the first Indiana, is it the first Indiana Jones movie where, yeah, it is. It's the first Indiana Jones movie where I think she wants to reach down and get the cup in the abyss, and she's almost reaching it, and then she falls a little bit more. He's grabbing her hand and tells her, just let it go, just let the cup go, because otherwise, of course, she's going to fall and die. And that's what this was. I saw the umbrella was like right there. I could easily have gone down and gotten it. But I was supposed to be meeting Jeff at the hotel, and I could have just envisioned him arriving after the 4 days and not knowing if he should check in and wondering where the heck I am and all of that. So I started down the cliff for it, and then realized it's pretty steep. I mean, it was really perpendicular. I wouldn't have hurt myself, but I would have slid, and it would have been really tough to get back up. That would have been the thing that would have been the hardest part. If I'd fallen at all, it would have been really tough to get back up. And I would have gotten myself terribly muddy and dirty. And it was just a stupid little portable umbrella. And I have like a dozen umbrellas all over the place because being a playground duty, I had to endure a lot of bad weather at times. So I did not go get my umbrella. I just left it. All right, so we'll take a little bit of liquid glue and we'll put a little dab where I want my star bow. Well, I think I'm all gummed up. Let's try that again. I just want a little dab of you. There you go. Just a little bit. And then we'll stick that on there, but it cannot move or it won't stay. But it will stay really nicely if I don't bump it. And then we'll just gingerly set you up here for a moment while I decide what tag to do. So we've got wishing you a joyful Christmas from our little flock. It's so cute. And we'll want to do the pretty peacock on that. So we'll just get this back out. It's just Whisper White. And we'll grab out my pretty peacock ink. So anyway, I did not get my umbrella, and I looked at it, almost went down for it. I kind of like heard a voice saying in my head, silently in my head, remember the Indiana. It's not worth it. You have lots of umbrellas, and you need to go meet Jeff. It's time to go. So I thought, I guess the wind's just a sign from God that I should be leaving. And whether it is or not, I am going to use that as a clue that I should just leave my umbrella, even though it is littering, and I was not happy about the littering, even though, I mean, it was open neon green, umbrella, a little, it's not huge, but certainly not something I would have liked to have left there. Okay, this is our timeless label punch. Okay, so I think our timeless label punch will go here nicely. And let's just do that. My sugar must be low because I'm not normally shaky, but I look a little quivery. So I think I, of course, overate when I was there, and I ate all carbs. I had at least 2 scones every day. I was like my excitement was to go, let's see what kind of scone I can find today. That was one of my treats that I was letting myself do. Now I'm going to take this timeless punch again, and I'm going to punch 2 of these because I really do like this paper. And this is actually a really handy technique to back, if you want to have backing on your tags. And I do. I want a little backing here, so I'll just cut it in half like this and cut it in half like this. And then I am going to put a little glue on the back of the tag. Okay, and then I'll just position my pieces so that they perform a little border for me. It's not perfect, but it looks pretty good. So this is just another way that you can get a little bit more use out of your punch. So I did not fall down the cliff and get all dirty, and I lost an umbrella. But I got to the hotel at the perfect time because Jeff wasn't there yet, and I could get myself all checked in. And then he arrived about 5 minutes later, all happy that I was there and had the room and had almost all my stuff. He only had to help me carry in my computer satchel, and so that worked out well. It does make, when you do this, it does make little weird extra corners sometimes, and if you don't like the extra corner, you can just snip it off. Okay, so now we can put on our little tag. Here's where this colored ribbon would look really nice, Freddie. Let's do it. I'm not going to get out my dryer, although I do have I could use my, even if I did not use a hair dryer, I wonder if my little heat set dryer would dry quick enough. I just don't want a ton of ink all over my fingers. Okay, that's close. It doesn't have to be perfect. All right, and then we'll tie a little bow like that. And then I can stick that little bow on here too, like there or there or there, whatever. There's just all kinds of things you can do. You could do it like that. This is why it takes me forever to make cards, because I'm like still thinking all the time, what am I going to do next? Okay, but I really actually just wanted it on the tag, and so we could do that. The tag's going to have to sneak underneath that star, and it is going to stick off just a little bit, but I think I'm going to live with that. And we'll put a dimensional under there and stick it on so it doesn't go anywhere. And then we'll take Okay, I could put that there, but then that's going to be too much. Okay, here's another rule of card making. I've heard, and it actually is pretty true. When you make a card, look at your finished design, take one thing off. Oftentimes the temptation is to put too much on. And I actually really like this bow, but maybe not there, but I'm sort of stuck with it there because I've got that Tombow glue is going to mar my gold. I can't really move it. I wonder if I would have preferred that. So since I like my colored bow, I'm going to just stick another one right on there instead of putting it on the label. And I'm not abandoning this. I'm going to just add you to that one. All right, so that one's done. Heat set works good. You have a little travel dryer. Oh, a travel dryer. That's good. I didn't have enough items with me to do my car. I had a bunch of those concertina albums half done, and I needed to finish those so I could get my room cleaned up a little bit. I'd put it all in a box, and I needed that box to be cleaned up and gotten rid of. Okay, so another thing we're going to do. Hi, Danny. It's nice to see you. She's so sweet. Anyhow, I took our Delicata ink pad, and I took our Swirls and Curls embossing folder, and I inked up the inside of the folder. Okay, I did it on both sides to see what I liked out of that. And so this is from doing the front side. I don't know if you can see. You can see some of the gold in there. Is this the one that I did the back side? Yes. This is the one where I did the back side. It actually looked identical to me. I am going to have to do the effect that I want. That's adequate. You know, I could just use this today, and I will use it at some point in time. But I actually prefer to have the tops colored, and to do that, now I got this craft stick at probably at Hobby Lobby, and I like it's the dauber. Let's use the dauber here for a moment. You can buy these little finger daubers. Oops, let me find the gold one. I don't want a different one. You can use these finger daubers. It's just that it's kind of fat. It's going to be harder for me to use this dauber and not get down into I don't really want to get down into the thingies. So the one nice thing about this finger dauber is it is bigger, and you can kind of swish lightly over the top and cover it much faster. See how quick this is going when I use this dauber? It actually works really well. You just don't want to push hard. And I use the lid because that helps me control how much ink I'm using. When you get the shimmer paint, you do want to shake it really good before you use it. Now, I actually am just continuing with my little dauber because it's going to go fast here. Now, I got quite a bit of ink, so I had to be a little careful on that first swipe. This is especially a good technique if you want an aged, vintagey effect. Okay, so this is kind of how you'll have to do it if you want the paint on the top, because normally you can ink up your embossing folder and it will do this, but for some reason I just wasn't getting that. I wasn't getting that when I did it, and I'm not 100% sure. I buy a lot of these because I don't want to use that for any other color. You get 5 in a pack. So I don't have as many of these because I don't use them all that often. The problem with this one is that I do have to be more careful how much ink I get on the bottom, the end of it. But this is one that I can actually get a little bit more ink if that dauber's not getting enough, because if I load a lot of paint on this dauber, it's all going to go down into the troughs. So I can just be a little bit more exact with this one if I'm, feeling fussy about it. Now we're going to use that in a moment. So I will set that aside. And then we are going to use the little turkey. Okay, so we'll get the little turkey guy out and grab another scrap of, I keep all my little scraps of Whisper White cardstock so that I use it up. Oh, there's my big one. I need a new one. I don't know if that one will fit. I better get the bigger one. I'll get the little one out too because it's right in the way. Okay, so clunk, clunk, clunk. Sorry. Danny, you're so funny. All right. It's so funny. I've lost a lot of weight. So people who actually have known me in the last few years, they're like, I didn't even know it was you. I'm terribly sorry. I didn't mean to ignore you. But when I saw you with Jeff, I wondered what woman he was with. And it's hilarious. The people who knew me from high school and the people who knew me when I was in my 20s, which are many people I'm not around all that often anymore. They know me because I look pretty much the same. I just have a lot of wrinkles and gray hair, and so it's just kind of funny. I have to go back in time in a sense to find people who know me. All right, so the little peacock, I think, or the turkey, I think we'll fussy cut him out too, just because I think it's going to be quicker for me to do that than to find my stitched circle and all of that. Although actually, now that I'm talking about it, maybe I can find my stitched circle pretty fast. Who knows? We'll get the background paper that we're going to use. We're going to use that brown, and I may use the back side of this as well. It's hard to not use this side because it is so pretty, but we'll have a little peek and see what else I've got. I might want to use my, I might use this. Not quite big enough. Close, but not quite. All right, I can't do that, so we'll just use that. And I'll go from there. Let's see if it's dry. It might be. Yes, pretty dry. Maybe I could let it go a little longer. We'll color and then it should be ready to go. Okay, so we've got bronze. I'm going to use some of that. That'll be a pretty close match to our soft suede. And I'm just going to kind of go over his little neck a little bit. His little wing. All right. Maybe his neck a little bit more. There we go. And I think we'll get our got a little fuzz there. We'll get our little pie a little bit and his hat. Let's just do his hat while we're here. Okay, so that is bronze. This is our soft suede. This is the light one, and we'll see how dark that is, because if I don't like it, then I will just draw in my Copic pen. Now the problem with my soft suede is that it's fine. It's just that it has a bit of a greenish cast to it that I'm not all that fond of. It's okay. It's just not quite what I like. So instead of that, let's grab a cream. This is actually a Spectrum color. That is cream. We don't want that one. We want not eggshell, not peach puff. Okay, this one is Brick Beige E31. And these are just Copic pens. They pretty close to actually our ivory. So I guess I could find our ivory and let's compare. Because I think it actually is very close to that. It's just a matter of finding my ivory. I did not see it when I was looking. Oh, there you are. All right, so this is our ivory. Actually, I think I prefer our ivory because it's more of a brown color. It really is nice on a pie crust. I do like that. And I better use that fine tip pen side to get around his little neck. And then if you're having problems getting it to blend, just keep going over it. It's an alcohol pen, so it is going to eventually make things a little darker, but in making it a little darker, it's gonna blend in the other dark stuff that you did. So you just keep going over it. We're gonna do ivory around here as well. Oop, let's grab that little part. And our pretty peacock center. That's what we're gonna do for his little tail. This is not a real turkey. He does not have to actually look like a turkey. My son Joel said when we met him for breakfast the next day after my umbrella incident, distressing pad and a distressing brush. You like for this, a distressing pad and distressing brush. I know I've heard of a distressing brush. I'm not sure about the distressing pad, but you wouldn't probably use it with gold. You mean like with just your regular cardstock, Freddie? Is that what you're saying? Okay, now we're gonna keep going with our peacock color here. Even though I'm not sure if I really like it. I might add some gold into it. Gold is sort of like my Wink of Stella go-to. If during holiday season, if I want to zip something up, I can add Wink of Stella or a bit of my gold pen. I'm gonna do a little gold pen on his buckle. Okay. All right, and then I do need to do that tie, but boy, I could get my marker out probably, but I think that works okay. And then we'll do our pumpkin pie, dark pumpkin pie for his little feet and his beak. My son Joel said that when he met us for breakfast, he'd heard, I guess it was the day before, I don't remember, but anyway, all this honking outside of his apartment door. And normally you don't hear that. So he went out, he said there were turkeys all over the street. I said, what? There were turkeys in Spokane? And he said, yeah, we have a lot of wild turkeys around here. I said, are they keeping them as pets? Because I'm thinking, I don't remember wild turkeys being around. He said, no, I don't think so. There are just a lot of wild turkeys. So I thought that was really funny. Poppy Parade. I just want a little something bright for his wattle. Turkey wattle needs to be darker than that pumpkin pie. So he's got a little Poppy Parade wattle. Anyway, so put those things away. And grab out my glasses again. And I think I will go ahead and find a die that I can cut him out large enough because we're running out of time. I don't want to take forever. And we will put him on here, but we'll just cut out a little bit larger die than I might have thought. Although this is a pretty small piece, so I'll start with a small stitched circle. If I can find my stitched shapes. So we'll find the circle that will fit him. Ooh, I don't think that's going to be... There we go. So we can do a stitched circle for him, and then if I position it properly, I might squeeze a little sentiment in there, but probably not. So let me do this really quick over here on the side with my Big Shot. I'll just do it on the side here with you sitting there wondering what the heck I'm doing. Okay, and that is that. All right, I was gonna try to get all these guys done, but obviously I'm not going to, so we'll just stick with this. And then we are going to need to we're gonna use this paper, and I wanna do, we'll just do a strip. Let's see, it's a swirls and curls. I kind of want to stick with the swirls and curls theme. So let me see what I've got here. Let's look. I guess I could use my stitched nested label. That might work nicely out of that. Even though it's not a swirls and curls, it'll still work. We'll just grab out one of those and we'll use that, okay? So let me run that through. Oops, I kind of need to make sure it's straight. I hope it works because my paper is just a little larger than my cutter, but it worked fine. Okay, so we're gonna stick him there, and we're almost done. Let me just get it all cut out. Here's my cutting machine. Let's put some things away. I can't even function. I've got so much junk all over here. Let's put some things away. Oh. Anyway, that and that. So when I send some things in the mail, I hope anything I send to you arrives okay. Hi, Michelle. It's nice to see you. Oh, you rub it on your embossed paper, the distressing thing. Or I could rub it on the gold ink pad. It's like a painting pad in miniature. I do not know anything about this. So, Freddie, maybe you could take a picture of it and put it on our team page for me, and that would be wonderful, because then we would all know what you're talking about. I'm not really sure, and it sounds very, very interesting. Okay, so we'll just cut this really quick. I'm not really sure my dimensions there, so we'll probably end up recutting, but that's okay. I just need it to be usable here. And then okay, so we want it to be 4 1/4 and 5 1/2, and I think we'll put that side out. Okay, now this, because it is embossed, it's harder to stick to a card, and I could have used I did a hammered piece. This is using our hammered embossing folder, and it would have been nice, but I wouldn't have it would have been harder to do the gold thing. But I think, Freddie, if the distressed pad you're talking about and the distress, that would look really good with this hammered. So we'll have to see how that see that. I would love to see that, so I could get that, because I'm sure you can get that at any craft place. All right, so we'll put that on there, and then this is going to go on here, and he's going to go there, and then we'll just put a little tag on him. I do think I'm thinking I would like this to be smaller and have this as a border, but it's going to depend on if I can quickly find another sheet of this that heirloom paper. I have it all on the side over here, and I'm not seeing it, but I do see that I got out a piece of my pretty peacock. So let's just cut that really quick, and then that can be my border. We'll just make this the card, okay? So we're gonna go 5.5, and we'll score it at 4.25. 4.25. Oh, I can't. I need to trim this or it won't show. And then we'll just trim 1/4 inch off of each. Instead of 4.25, we'll go with 4, maybe even just a little less than 4 inches. And instead of 5.5, we'll go 4.25, just a hair less. Like that's probably a 1/16 inch less, I bet. And then this becomes my card base. Except for I folded it slightly crooked. So let me grab my bone folder so I can fix that. Okay. Yeah, it would look good. I bet it would. All right, there we go. That's going to be better. All right, so since this is an embossed piece and very difficult to get to really glue on well, normally I just glue things on as much as possible, but in this case we're going to use dimensionals to stick it on, and I'm going to be pretty liberal about that here because now you don't necessarily want to put it too close to the edge. It'll stick on really well, and you don't necessarily want people to see all of your dimensional mess easily from the side, looking at your card. If it's kind of tucked more towards the center like this, then when people view your card from the side, they're not going to necessarily see now that one's a little close to this outer edge probably. We might see that one, I don't know. But of course, it's hard to, can't place it. You have to leave some space, but if when you turn your card, then you really can't see a dimensional, but it is stuck on there really well. All right, we're almost done, except for I lost there you are, my tag. We're gonna stick you like that. I'm gonna stick you like that. I always like a ribbon, but I think we're gonna just skip the ribbon for now. And I'm thinking a little tiny tag. What can I use for a little tiny tag? I've got this Duet. Now this is on our clearance rack. This Duet banner punch. So I'm thinking that might look really good. And I've got a scrap of gold here. So let's just do both of them with that. And then we'll grab another scrap of my Whisper White. Okay. All right, and then we can use our gold banner and the white one, and that will be my little label. Okay, so let's look at our sentiment and see what we can do with that. I see give thanks. Perfect. You could do enjoy the season or sending love, but give thanks will be great. Okay, it's not going to fit all that easily on here, so let's see. Give thanks. Oh, you are not going to fit. I'm not going to be able to use you, little give thanks. I'll have to get out one of my little itty-bitty sayings. So we've got itty bitty greetings. They fit on everything. There's everything you could ever want. May God bless and keep you would be nice. Let's see. I've got a hey friend. I might do that. Let's do the hey friend. Yes. Oh, there's a with gratitude. That might be nice. But I still think we'll do the hey friend. And then, okay, so here's the deal. I forgot to tell you, Freddie. I do save these. I forgot to save the backing paper after I peeled off the stamps and put this on here. I didn't. At that point, when I got this set, I was so new to these cling stamp sets stamps, I did not know I should save that paper. So this is a piece of wax paper. The problem is wax paper isn't quite as effective, and so gradually as I buy stamps and I think the labels, like the Avery labels that you print things out on the computer, addresses and such, I'm saving that paper and I'm cutting it up, and I need to put a sheet on here since I've got my old wax paper. The reason is because after I'd bought, especially these little itty bitty greetings, because these are so small, if they adhere to this case like this, and it's there for months, which happens for me because I've got a lot of stamps, so they won't be used maybe for a very long time. I had a really hard time peeling this off the case, a really hard time. As I was peeling it off, my sticker started to come off. And if you put a lot of pressure on it, your rubber stamp will peel right off the foam too. So you do not want these to stick to your case. And I found that out on my own, but I did read from somebody else too that they said that they had prepared their class ahead of time and put their little stamps on their blocks like several weeks ahead of time to, just to be able to be time efficient. And oh, good. Thank you for sending me that link about the distressing thing. I'll put that on our page, our team page. Anyway, they said that they had a hard time getting their stamps off their block. And that made me think, okay, good. Not good, but I'm not crazy. It really is difficult to get off of the case, I think, if you just leave them there. So you don't want to do that. All right, so that little friend is going to fit right on there. And if I had time, I would find I've got a little teeny pumpkin, I know somewhere. I'm going to put a little teeny pumpkin on there before I actually stick those on. So I'm going to stop here because I want to finish the video and I'm almost done. Just imagine it's all stuck on because that's the way that would work. Or the way it would look if it was. So those are the two cards we did for using not itty bitty greeting, although I did use you itty bitty greeting. It was the birds of a feather. Okay. All right. So we have a team meeting tomorrow. I'm going to do it on video if you are not able to be here, Michelle. And am I here? Yes, there I am. Okay, good. That's a YouTube video. Excellent. Anytime, either if you have Freddie or Michelle, you find good things like that, feel free to post it on our team page. It'll have to be approved by me, but I will approve it. It's unlikely I won't. I just I just have to, anyway, I just have to see it. So, let's see on how to avoid that problem of the sticking. Oh, good. You can share that too. I don't have time to look at all this stuff. There is a ton of stuff out there, but I am so busy just doing all this card stuff. I don't see all of that. So that would really be useful for our team. Anytime you see things like that, just feel free to post those on our Crow's Nest Crafters page. That's what that page is for, so that we can share information. And then and it also is a page that we can share any information about any craft thing. On this page, it has to be Stampin' Up. All right, you guys have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow at our team meeting. If you guys are with me, those watching later, and you're not part of our team, you're always welcome to join us. The best time to do it, though, will be in January this next year. If you have people that you're encouraged, that are stamping with you and ordering stuff with you, then ask them to be on your team, okay? Because they would still be able to access my stuff and Kara's stuff. If you want them to be able to access Erica's things, then you would need to have them join me or Kara or Erica. You could even just encourage them to go direct to her too. That would be fine. So you guys have a great day. And I don't think there is a bunch. There's that purple posy is apparently orderable now. I don't know. I've been too busy to check all that out, but I think purple posy is available. And and the snowman embellishment. Oh my goodness, I'll have to find out when that is available, because I think, Freddie, you were talking about the snowman kit. Right? I think you're talking about this, the little felt, the snowballs and the felt. Oh, I gotta do a Facebook Live with this, because it is so cute. You're gonna love this. I was so disgusted that I saw that was on back order, so we'll find out hopefully soon. When we should be able to order it pretty soon. I think that their supply line has improved a lot. So don't give up. Keep checking. All right, I'll talk to you guys later, and you have a great day. Bye.